Hello, everyone. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. I know that I am feeling very grateful at this end of February episode of the Own It series. My name is Levadeh Davenport, as you likely know, and I am the founder of Levadeh, the 501c3 with a focus and a mission of helping individuals experience abundance in their health, their education, their relationships, and their ownership. And we are going through the year of 2026 with a mission to share what is ownership. We're defining it, we're reclaiming it, we're clarifying it so that people can take ownership of their lives, especially in the areas of their health, education, relationship, and ownership. And so that's where we are today. We are in week 3, which has a focus on responsibility versus blame. So I don't know if you've ever used those words before, what context you may have used them in, but we are going to kind of take a lens of what, take a look through the lens of what ownership looks like when it comes to our responsibilities and when it comes to blame. Last week, we talked about ownership through the lens of our mind, body, spirit, and soul. And we looked at how awareness is really the first step toward living more intentionally, right? This week, I want to make sure that we're clarifying something that really stops people from taking that full ownership of their lives. And like I've said, that is what is the difference between responsibility and blame. And so the first thing we want to do when it comes to responsibility and the weight of that word is understand that it can feel heavy. It can feel like we've been blamed unfairly sometimes, or that we're expected to carry too much too early. And sometimes responsibility has been used in ways that created some shame around our experience instead of growth. So I want to say very clearly that ownership is not about self blame. Ownership is about choosing how we're going to respond from this moment forward. There's a simple way to understand the difference between blame and responsibility. Blame is going to ask questions like, who's at fault here? Ooh. Who should be feeling bad about this thing that has happened? Blame is going to continually keep us stuck in the past. Whereas responsibility asks questions like, what is mine to do next? It asks, how can I respond to this intentionally? It also asks, what is going to move me forward? And so this is where something very important comes into play, and that's boundaries. The function of boundaries is that they're going to help you maintain healthy limits and take that responsibility for your own life, but it doesn't mean overextending yourself. It does not mean overcompensating. Because if you both are overextending yourself and overfunctioning for others, then you will put yourself in a burnout. You become very susceptible to burnout. And so, some examples of overextending or overfunctioning include saying yes to things when your capacity is already stretched. I have done that many, many a time. And I learned a valuable lesson that just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do something. Boundaries are what can help you to maintain an understanding of what is yours and what does not belong to you. It's a way to not build up a wall to push people away, but to provide a structure to protect that energy, to honor your own capacity, and to make sure that you're able to follow through sustainably in what you are actually called to and intending to do in life. So, I also want to reframe something that gets us confused sometimes. I want to reframe it. I also want to normalize it because many of us are not taught to honor our own needs. And so, our needs are things that I know that I once upon a time thought of as a weakness, right? I've thought of my needs as something that was inconvenient to manage and to navigate. But I learned that needs are information. Needs tell us what our body is needing for its own continuation. And when we ignore our physical, emotional, or spiritual needs, the decisions that we make eventually start coming from depletion instead of clarity. And that sustainable ownership is going to require that we stay resourced enough to choose well. And when I say resourced, I'm talking about that awareness of for what I need, where should I be getting it from? Or for what I need, how should I be managing it and stewarding it? Some examples for me include, as I've mentioned before, I found myself in a space of extreme burnout where it made me chronically ill. And what I realized that I needed was rest. Rest was that inconvenience for me. And I was like, if I can't if I can't get all the things done, then no one else is going to be able to do them, and I'm going to end up having to do even more later anyway. So let me just keep going and keep going and keep going. And so during that time, I was ignoring what my body needed. I was also ignoring what my mind needed because my body needed rest, but my mind needed it too. And because I was ignoring these things, I was making myself unsteady. So when I began to ask my questions, what does my body need? What does my mind need? And I was then able to say, I need support in these areas. That was when I put myself on a track to both heal, to restore, and improve my quality of life. And so I want to invite you into this week's practical, practical practice of asking yourself, what is mine to steward next? That simple question will help you acknowledge what the next step would be that you would need to do in your own life. And you be able to do it from a space of responsibility, not from a space of blame. So we don't want to say, I got to, I have to. Those are not things that usually we're stewarding with responsibility. Usually you that verbiage have to got to, should, that's associating with a blame, not a responsibility. And when I say that, I mean, I feel like I have to do this because somebody else won't or somebody else can't. That was my personal experience, right? But if we shift it to, these are the things that are important for me to do, then it's not I have to do them. It is that this is my responsibility. I'm not taking blame for them. I'm taking responsibility because they're things that I desire for my own life. And that can even apply to like things that we're doing for our children or for our family or for our work. Because I want to do a good job, I don't have to do these videos, but I'm being a good steward in taking responsibility for putting this information out because I want to do this work well. For my children, making dinner, I don't have to make dinner, but I do take responsibility in the area of making those meals because I want my kids to feel nourished and healthy, right? So you can apply it to both, and I would say entirely apply it to those personal values and desires that you have for yourself and for your life, so that the experiences that you're having are feeling more like things that you are taking responsibility for, not things that you are weighted by blame for. And so I want to ask you, as you ask that question to yourself, what is mine to steward next? I want you to ask yourself, along with that, what is mine to respond to here? What is mine to carry? And that's both carrying forever in life, things like your health, your mindset, your heart posture. Those are things that you carry. And what is not mine to fix? And an example of that are things like other people's responsibilities and other people's life experiences, right? When you can ask yourself within that question, what is mine to steward, define what lane belongs to you, what lane belongs to other people, then you can unburden yourself from the things that maybe would make you feel that undue blame or undue burden. But big picture, I want you guys to remember that ownership is not about perfection. It is about participation. And as you are participating in your own lives, I want you to know that you have access to support to take those steps and to take them one step at a time. If this resonated with you, I invite you to stay connected to the Own It series that is going to be shared each week, usually on Fridays. And we're building this together. So make sure you come back, join us next week. If not, you can check out our YouTube videos and also the levadeh.org/courses site, where you can find more information about courses that can help you empower your own hero. That health, education, relationship, and ownership. Until the next time I see you, know that I'm grateful you're alive. I want you to be encouraged. I want you to know that you are loved. You are appreciated. And I look forward to sharing more of the best moments of your life with you. You have a great day. Bye.